Welcome to Superhero Pow. I'm your host nerd, Tom Frumgen. Do you love Harley Quinn? I love Harley Quinn. She's a great character and a great partner in crime for the Joker. But one thing Harley Quinn is not is a great role model. There's absolutely nothing admirable about Harley Quinn. I'll admit Harley Quinzel is a different matter altogether. Heck, I'm sure there were good qualities about Jack Napier or Arthur Fleck, or whatever you want to call him, before he was the Joker. Because just like the Joker himself, Harley Quinn is criminally insane. And last time I checked, the criminally insane don't make good role models. Even in her humble beginnings, Harley Quinn was not good role model material. First appearing in the iconic Batman the Animated Series in 1992, writer Paul Dini created her as just a one-off character for the episode Joker's Favor. Her look was created by series producer Bruce Timm. So right off the bat, she's just another colorful henchman, woman, gun mall, whatever, for the Joker. The Joker had about 3 appearances before Harley Quinn came around, and afterwards he would have 4 more appearances, 3 with Harley Quinn. In those episodes, Harley Quinn evolved into the perfect match for the Joker, being just as insane, if not so murdery, as he is. Before the first season was over, Bruce and Paul had become so enamored with this one-off character, they gave her her own episode without the Joker, with Harley and Ivy, where she teamed up with Poison Ivy. When the show was renewed for another 20 episodes, the fan response was in, and it seemed we all liked Harley Quinn as well. So she got 2 more episodes, nearly to herself, without the Joker in Harley Quinnade and Harley's Holiday, which proved, even while trying to do good, she was still quite insane, much like those Two-Face's Cured stories. Right before the second season, DC Comics became a fan of hers as well, and published Paul Dini and Bruce Timm's graphic novel, Mad Love, which showed how the Joker pushed her into insanity, which is an interesting flip side to the graphic novel The Killing Joke, where the Joker fails to push Commissioner Gordon into insanity. The story also featured stuff Paul and Bruce were never allowed to do in the cartoon, like sex, well, implied, and violence, well, blood. Even though they actually animated Mad Love 5 years later for the final episode of the new Batman Adventures. So from beginning to end, Harley Quinn was an antisocial sociopath, which basically means she lacks a conscience and has little respect for others. Oh, and not a good role model for kids. Now let's sidebar for a minute and talk about sociopaths versus psychopaths, since psychopaths seem to be the more commonly used word. When defining each word, or personality disorder, there's one key difference to me: a person who has never taken a psychology class. Psychopaths are calculating, and sociopaths are chaotic. So for this reason, I view Harley Quinn and Joker as sociopaths instead of psychopaths. Now, Heath Ledger's Joker in Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight, he's a psychopath. But more often than not in the comic books and cartoons, the Joker is a time bomb that can pop at any moment. Plus, in my humble opinion, the Joker has genuine affection for Harley Quinn, and vice versa, which is something psychopaths can't do, but sociopaths can. But back to her history. Now, with the show finally over, DC accepted Harley Quinn into the comic books, first appearing in Batman Harley Quinn #1 in 1999. Mind you, she eased into comic books, first appearing in the Batman the Animated Series comic book and then the Elseworld Thrill Killer. But Batman Harley Quinn #1 brought her into the proper DCU, where she still runs around today. As her popularity continued to grow, she was given her own comic book in 2000. But having the criminally insane as a lead of a comic book is something that just doesn't feel quite right. So over the years, DC has tried to downplay Harley Quinn's violent criminal side and play up her playful chaotic side, even going so far as saying it's not her fault, it's all the Joker's fault. She's just a crazy, fun, in-command chick who can lead the Suicide Squad. But this creates another problem for the character. Does this mean Harley Quinn is a battered woman? That's not great female lead material for a comic book either. So DC struggles with trying to cast Harley Quinn. Oh, who am I kidding? They don't struggle. They turn a complete blind eye to the fact that their positive symbol for girl power, or Grrr Power, is criminally insane. They lose absolutely no sleep at all selling stuffed dolls and a ton of other merchandise of a sociopath to kids. Not to mention allowing many of their artists to draw her like a sex worker. And did I mention she's not a good role model? And this is where we are today, with Harley Quinn as a pop culture icon, basically headlining a bunch of big comic book movies, the Suicide Squad films, and Birds of Prey, which is supposed to kick off a Harley Quinn trilogy. She also has her own animated series on DC's streaming channel, something Wonder Woman has yet to have. And lest we forget, in the kids' cartoon DC Superhero Girls, she's just a wacky classmate to Wonder Woman and Batgirl. So please, try to forget that she's a frickin' antisocial sociopath who will murder you for a giggle.
Killed him. Oh well, we were going to do it anyway. We got his credit cards, what's to worry?
But seriously, you should not be naming your children after Harley Quinn. Sorry, Kevin Smith, you're an easy target. But that's like naming your kid after Hannibal Lecter. These are not good people, or fictional people. You want a symbol of Grrr Power? How about Black Canary? Or hell, even Tank Girl? And if we could get people to stop drawing Power Girl like a stripper, she would be a great female empowering Grrr character as well. I suppose this is some sad commentary on comic book women, as the mentally ill one is being embraced as a role model. Because what kind of message are we sending here? Feeling unempowered by this male-dominated world? Just go insane and kill a few people for fun. Strangely, the male-dominated world doesn't look so bad anymore, if Harlequinism is the other option. Now let's switch gears and talk about what makes Harley Quinn great. Above all, it's her romance with the Joker. Because crazy tough chicks with baseball bats are a dime a dozen. You know what I mean. But someone madly in love with the Joker, who the Joker embraces back? Seriously, he could kill her anytime he wants to. He killed Bob, for crying out loud.
Bob? Gun.
So clearly, he doesn't want to. And that's interesting. And that's what all got us interested in her in the first place. She's Bonnie to his Clyde. She's not a victim of the Joker. Okay, yes, Harley Quinzel was, but not Harley Quinn. The Joker can't terrorize Harley Quinn like he can his other thugs, because she gets the joke. And that's why he loves her back. She's the only one who gets it, and him. Now, while he might reject this concept, deep down, he knows it's true. And so anyone talking about Harley Quinn as a battered woman is completely wrong, because they're forgetting that she herself is a supervillain, and real-world rules don't apply to supervillains. Hell, most of them would make more money selling the tech they create as opposed to just using it to rob a bank. And of course, she and the Joker can still get into fights. As I said, in my humble opinion, they're sociopaths. Chaos and emotional outbursts are their way of life. And that's what makes her a great character. And a terrible role model. So knock it off, people. Darkseid's my favorite villain. Yes, Thanos has better stories. But while I'll wear a Darkseid t-shirt, I'm not gonna pattern my life after him. Okay, it seems our time is up. Thanks so much for watching, because you are the reason I'm making these things. Otherwise, I'd just be yelling at my neighbor's tree or something. And please feel free to share this with someone you think is a little too deep into Harley Quinn. It's cheaper than an intervention. And if you could be so kind to subscribe, I promise not to murder you for a giggle, even if Mr. J tells me to.